Hi, my name is ShaneidaMonique, and if you are new, welcome. I do videos geared towards giving you helpful tips on how to navigate through life and relationships. And today's video is going to be how they become narcissistic. And it's going to be my opinions, my thoughts, my perspective, and just giving you what I've experienced and what I've observed. But before we get started, thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. Thank you to everyone who has liked my videos, shared them. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. And if you're not subscribed, check out my other videos and, subscribe. Okay? All right, so let's get into the video for today. Now, I don't really have a blueprint of the way that this video is going to go. I'm just gonna have a conversation with you. Anything that you don't agree with, just leave it in the comments, so that we could just have open dialogue. All right, so the first thing is that what I've noticed is that whenever a person is narcissistic or have narcissistic traits or borderline narcissism, well, actually, let's just start by here. Narcissism is a personality disorder. Right? So just like someone can be bipolar or someone can have, multiple personalities or whatever, like really and truly, when you go to a therapist and if they're familiar with narcissism, they can diagnose you as having narcissistic personality disorder or whatever the case is, right? But the sad part is that majority of people, especially people that I know and come across in everyday life, they're not seeking therapy. They're not seeking outside help. What they're doing is they're just manipulating everyone in their world to conform to what they want. Most of the narcissistic people that I know, because honey, I know a lot, none of them have gone to seek therapy, even with me suggesting that they need professional help or whatever the case is. It falls on deaf ears. And that's one thing that I've noticed, that when people have very toxic traits, it's almost like they have to hit rock bottom in order to seek professional help. Like, I can't understand it. Like, I feel like everybody should be on the path of self-mastery and development so that you can live your happiest and best life. That's really what we all should strive for, right? That what we all should want. Everything in this life is obtainable, but there's certain things that you have to do. And I feel like with narcissistic people, instead of working on themselves, instead of working and on their own toxic behaviors, all they do is try to push their fantasies onto other people. They try to get other people to conform to what they want them to be in order for, the narcissist to be happy. And it's really, really sad. Yeah, so the examples that I'm going to give you is going to be, I'm going to pull from celebrities because there's a ton of narcissistic celebrities that we can talk about. And I'm also going to pull from, everyday life or whatever, and situations where you may relate. All right, first is, let's talk about women. Now, when it comes to narcissistic women or like borderline personality of being a narcissistic woman, majority of the women that are narcissistic, there's two reasons behind why they do the things that they do, why they act the way that they act. The first is, which I feel like is the most important, like, key and red flag, is number one, she probably was raised either by a narcissistic parent, which if it's a woman, then most likely her mother was a narcissist. Or it could be that she doesn't have any mother figure or at all. And okay, so this is going to sound crazy, but what I noticed is that certain women that don't either have a good relationship with their mother, it's very toxic, there's some other underlying issues going on there, those women tend to develop narcissistic traits. And I understand why, right? This is why. If as a child growing up, right, you get to the age where I said in a previous video that I feel like narcissistic women don't start to gain supply from their children, and well, especially the women, until they become preteens. So if you have a daughter, if a narcissistic woman has a daughter, and let's say now the daughter is developing and, becoming of age, the daughter is, fairly attractive or whatever, that narcissistic woman automatically creates a competition because she loves competition. So she automatically creates a competition between her and the daughter, right? And here's the thing with the daughter is that if the daughter wants to survive having that toxic relationship with her mother, she's going to have to learn how to kind of go with the punches. She's going to have to learn that her mother is forming a competition with her, and she has to either, rise to the occasion or get pummeled down. And I feel like when a woman or with a young girl who has a fairly narcissistic mother who's in competition with her, if she's attractive and really, like, she has to kind of develop her own confidence. She has to develop her own self-worth. And it's got to be to the point where anything that her mother says or does cannot penetrate her. She has to go and become like this hardcore woman, especially on the outside. And there's a couple of people like on social media that make jokes about it that says, ha ha ha, all you girls are jealous, but you have no idea, like, I had competition with my mom. And, it's kind of like when it comes to a girl growing up and, your mom is your number one hater, like the outside world doesn't mean anything to you. It's like having a parent who is a pathological liar. Like if you have one parent that just lies all the time, most likely, the kid's gonna lie because they see the mom's doing it. Just like if you're raised by a parent that's constantly in and out of jail, what's that saying? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But in this sense, I think that when I see situations like that, whereas I see women who are fairly narcissistic because of the traumatic relationship that they have with their mother, I am completely sympathetic towards them, and I just, I feel like sometimes I just want to like, just put my arms around them and be like, you know what, like, it's just so sad. Like, I can't imagine having a daughter and, and just leaving her vulnerable like that. It's very sad. But again, that's one of the traits of why, especially when it comes to women, how a woman is basically have these narcissistic traits. Then that was number one. And then number two would be from actually being in narcissistic relationship with men. So this means that men who are fairly narcissistic and she in return takes on some of their traits. Again, this is only if she's fairly like dealt with multiple narcissistic men. I told you I was gonna use some celebrity examples, and one example in particular I'm gonna use is, I really like this girl, whatever, but Khloe Kardashian. I feel like, to me, she's not really narcissistic. I think that she is very empathetic. I think that she is very sensitive and concerned for the people around her, especially for the men that she gets involved with. You can see that with the way that she was with her past relationships, right? And I would say that Khloe Kardashian is probably the prime example of, like, well, she's before the turning point. So she's still fairly empathetic right now. And I feel like if she continues on a path when she's continues to deal with narcissistic men, like the guy that she's involved with now, she has these relationships and continues to be disappointed, continues to be hurt, I think that in return, she could come, she can become a narcissistic woman, not even be aware that these are the traits that she's taking on, because just like I said before with, with the woman or girl who has a narcissistic parent and they develop this narcissism as a way to protect themselves, is the same way that women can do that when it comes to dealing with men. They can develop this over-exaggerated sense of self and you know, it could get to the point where you have, you know, where you have certain women that says, you know what, now I'm just going to be a savage. Now all men lie, all men are dogs. I'm just out here trying to get my bills paid. Now I'm a savage. And really, all you're saying is that you hurt and you don't want to heal from the hurt, and you would rather, you know, hurt other people. And that's why they have the saying, hurt people, because instead of healing, looking at why you're attracting all these toxic men, you just say, no, what? Everybody's the same, and go out there and dog everybody out. And on top of that, that's what the men do. These narcissistic men, they over here running around with mommy issues, and not even daddy issues, because daddy issues, no, it's not daddy issues. People are talking about that daddy issues are, you know, a problem, like, oh, you know, this girl, she got daddy issues. No, but let me tell you, it's the mommy issues that's out here messing people's minds up. It's the mommy issues. If you got mommy issues, you need to go to therapy, because mommy issues is little different, and it only pops up in your adult life with your relationships when you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. Most of the men that I know that have very toxic relationships, very toxic, like very narcissistic, love bombing, love to discard. All of these men have like pretty much one thing in common, and that's the fact that they have mommy issues. And this is really, really important when you date, because man, listen, you're not gonna know until after the love bombing phase if he got mommy issues. But then again, no, I'm not even say that, because there are red flags and things to pay attention to if anybody, male or female, have mommy or daddy issues. You could just, there's simple questions that you can ask that would uncover that, so that you know what you're getting yourself into. But listen, I feel like if anybody is on the level of where they're healing, or where they're doing the work, you're doing the self-development, then, you know, mommy issues, daddy issues, you know, big mama, it don't even matter, because you're healing. That's what matters. What matters is that you're either getting the help that you need or giving it to yourself without hurting other people. That's what matters. Not the fact that, you know, you was hurt, somebody broke your heart, and now you turned into a freaking a demon savage, and you just out here buck wild. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. But getting back to why majority of these people become narcissistic, is because the wounds and things that they have obtained or has occurred throughout their childhood is still unhealed. And because those wounds are not healed, whenever not you, but whenever a narcissistic person gets with someone else, they're going to be triggered again. Like, so you date your trauma, right? So if you have anything that is unhealed, you date that in your future. You start to be attracted to those types of relationships. You start to be attracted to, let's say, if your mother never showed you a lot of love, a lot of affection, or whatever, in return, you tend to be attracted to people that don't show you love or affection, or you feel like you have to win their love and affection, because that's what's familiar to you. It was familiar to you in the past, and now all you've done is recreated that in your adult life. Like, when I look at like narcissistic people, it's usually, when it comes to like the lying and the manipulation, it's, you know, they're fairly very, very insecure. They want people to love them so badly that they would do anything in order to obtain that. And the problem is that they can't maintain it. You can't maintain it. You know, this is why, like, you know, if I give advice on like dating or whatever, I just say, yo, be 100% yourself. That is the best way to attract the person that is meant for you. If you are 100% yourself, unfiltered, whoever actually comes in contact with you, and you know, you really have yourself on display, that's it. They know what they're getting. They know what they're getting. Like, you know, I see so many, you know, it's sidebar, but I see so many people putting on their representative in order to snag somebody. And you putting on your representative in order to gain somebody, that's not going to keep them. It's not. And I think that that's ultimately the problems that these narcissistic people face, is that, you know, everything is a facade, everything is a fantasy, and they cannot maintain it because that's not who they truly are. And deep down inside, they are truly sad, broken, and really, truly probably just want genuine love, but they can't get it because they're not genuine people. So, you know, you're going to get what energy you're radiating. You're gonna, you know, like attracts like. You're going to get what you are. And another thing that I find too, when it comes to when it just comes to narcissistic men, right? The new, I guess, trends, right, when it comes to narcissistic men is hearing them belittle women. Right now, whenever I listen to a man and, you know, he's, you know, just belittling women or just dogging women out, because like there's a whole community out there of men that cannot stand women. And when I listen to it and I hear them speak, you can always tell that they have issues with their mother. When they refer to their mother, it's usually in a negative way, or they tell you all the problems that they have with her. And, you know, really when I hear it, I'm like, dude, you just got mommy issues. You got to go to therapy. Like every woman that you meet is not your mother. Like, fix it. You know, like you hear them say, oh, you know, because my mother's like that, or my aunts, and they all like, okay, all right, granted, you grew up in a household where the women were fairly toxic in your family. That's not all women. That's your family, and they probably all need therapy. But again, most people is not going to therapy like that. Not unless it's court ordered. I'm just being honest. It is not going to therapy like that. Somebody says, I don't got the issue, you got the issue. This is my attitude, this is how I am. No, honey, you need therapy. Okay. Anyway, so listen, I'm going to stop the video right here. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it was informative. Again, if you're still watching, make sure that you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will chat with you soon.